evening, everyone. So I'm here to tackle about the difference between the five operating systems. So let's start in user-friendly interface. So in Windows is usually the operating system of choice for gamers and business users who rely on Microsoft software. So many Windows users are thrilled with changes Microsoft introduced with Windows 10. So if you never use, so it's user friendly. So in Linux, used by corporate, scientific, and academic organization of every size. It used to power the development machines and servers at Google, Facebook, Twitter, NASA, and the New York Stock Exchange. So it is also used to give new life to older hardware, enable low-budget computing projects to succeed, and serve as the operating system on single-board computers. So Mac OS is the best suited for casual users thanks to its user-friendly design. A MacBook Pro, for example, has a user interface similar to what you find on iMac, iPad, and iPhone. Apple creates its own hardware and software, making it easier to optimize the user experience according to what's been developed on both ends. So, and lastly, is Android is more freewheeling, which translates into a much wider phone choice in the first place and more OS customization options once you're up and running. So second is the resource sharing. So in Windows, it is available. It's a computer resource made available from one host to another host on a computer network. It is a device or piece of information on a computer that can be remotely accessed from another computer transparently as if it were a resource in the local machine. So while in Linux, share disk space among users by dividing the disk into thousands of equal sized blocks and then allocating them to user as necessary. So in Mac OS, so file sharing is the most secure you can make your MacBook, so it keeps everything else from being allowed to connect to your MacBook. So in Android, almost everything is a resource. So next is safeguard of data. So in Windows, Microsoft protects your data both in rest and in transit. So our encryption protocols erect barriers against unauthorized access to the data, so including two or more independent encryption layers to protect against compromises of any one layer. So while in Linux are widely regarded as being better for privacy and security than Mac and Windows. So one reason for this is they are open source, which means they are less likely hiding backdoors for their developers. So in Mac OS offers file-based encryption on local drivers, network share, removable drives, and in the cloud, and it has safeguard file encryption for Mac. So you can easily or safely encrypt and decrypt files or exchange files. So Android uses both full disk encryption and file-based encryption. So in software updates, Most of the running Windows, either automatically or manually on a regular basis, ensure that you get latest security updates to operating system. So in Linux, updating the software packages installed in your server is important. There are lots of tools available for footprinting. So the details of your the details of your system. So in Mac OS, it is the best in Mac OS to update, and in Android, it is recommended for technology developing. So you must download the updates. So the advantages. So the advantages in Windows. So Windows have larger number audience, so developer prefer to make utilities, games, and software for Windows OS. So Linux user cannot make Windows apps, so it's better to use Windows for developing apps. So Linux is less vulnerable and more secure than Windows operating system. Linux makes it less probably that any virus will execute because open source software available for everyone to contribute, modify, and enhance the source code. So in Mac OS, is second most used operating system and has less number of active users. So it the advantage is fewer virus attacks. So in Android, so Android has a lot of app stores. One of them is in the shape of Google Play. So there are many advantages because Android is all the resource is in the Android. So expensive. Windows is expensive because Microsoft pays for many resources. So Linux is a free at cost, so you can download it right now. So Mac OS, although Mac OS are quietly expensive because of its high quality build, Android is guaranteed. All these phones comes with latest chipset, display, and camera innovations. It's one of the reason why Android is ever rising prices. So the system failure. Windows system failures may result from a hard drive with bad sectors. So while in Linux, if you're running Ubuntu and your system randomly crashes, you may be running out of memory. So in Mac OS, startup issues, and in Android, usually is for your storage and it will affect not responding of your system. So the developer for Windows is Bill Gates and Paul Allen. So in April 4, 1975. So while in Linux, it's engineer Linus Torvalds who created Linux and created in early 1990s. So in Mac OS, we can Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne in 1976. So in Android is Andrew E. Rubin. So he's an American computer programmer. So Rubin founded Android Incorporation in 2003. So that's all. Thank you.